Well, we've got some disastrous polls for Democrats right now. And strangely, it comes right around the same time Kamala Harris has now reemerged. She's got a book. She went on Colbert. That's right. One failed canceled loser interviewing another failed canceled loser. And she was asked a very simple question. Who leads the Democrat Party right now? And her answer was worse than you'd expect. We'll get to that coming up in a second. But first, to the polls. CNN, Harry Enton. It's bad. It's really bad. It's awful. Let's enjoy.
Democrats at this point are historically divided. It is a complete and utter mess. It is messier than a hoarder's basement. What are we talking about here? The national early poll leader, 25% plus. Normally, that's where Democrats are. Biden was at 25% plus in 2020. Hillary Clinton was in 08 and 16. Gore was in 00 and 04. At this particular point, there is no one in the Democratic race for president who's polling at 25% plus. The water is quite warm. If you're a Democrat potentially thinking about running in 2028, jump right in, because at this point, there is no front runner.
What do you think? Is that because how people view the Democratic Party right now, is that contributing to this?
Yeah, I think that is in large part of what's going on, is one of the reasons why there is no front runner. Nobody wants to put anybody up at the top of their ballot list, is because at this particular point, the Democratic brand is in the basement. It is total and complete garbage in the mind of the American public. The Democratic Party's net favorable rating, record lows in all three. Wall Street Journal, 30 points underwater. CNN, 26 points underwater. Gallup, 26 points underwater. And that is being driven in large part by discontent within the Democratic base. The Democratic base wants something different. We'll ultimately end up seeing who they choose. It'll be quite the thing who ultimately gets the rose.
Yeah.
Okay, so sure, that's bad news. It is. It's true. It's horrible news. They're in the sewer, I tell you. However, let's just pause for a second. It can't be that bad. I mean, after all, Kamala Harris just enjoyed some of the most incredibly positive media any politician will ever enjoy. She was barely roughed up by any of the legacy corporate brands. She got endorsements from people from Beyonce to Taylor Swift to the mainstream media, pop culture, academia, the music industry. They were all lined up for her. And after all, she only had 107 days to run for president. That's literally the name of her book. We'll talk about that in a second. So clearly, when you bring Kamala Harris into the mix specifically, not as the Democrat brand, but just as herself, this transcendent political figure that we should all feel fortunate to have walk amongst us at this time in history, clearly the numbers are better, right? Right?
She wants to run in 2028. What are the numbers that you're seeing about this right now?
Yeah, I would just say hold your horses here. The chance that Kamala Harris is going to be the 2028 Democratic nominee, they don't look too good right now, to be perfectly honest with you. Chance of being the 2028 Democratic nominee.
Don't you do the caveat of like what year we're currently in?
I believe we're in 2025, though. It kind of feels like 2045. There have been so many years and just one so far. Look, Gavin Newsom is the favorite at 20%, according to the back money markets. Do not sleep on Ocasio-Cortez. AOC right up there at 15%. Buttigieg 9%. Shapiro 6%. Harris all the way down at 6%, basically in a tie for fourth place at this particular point. So if you have any ideas that Kamala Harris is passing up a potential gubernatorial run for 2026 in California and perhaps would be trading up for a presidential bid, the betting markets at this point, simply put, do not buy it.
All right, let's bring in our friend, morning radio host across the Salem Radio Network, and of course, seen on every device that you hold near and dear to your heart, Salem News Channel's own Chris DeGaulle. Chris, thanks for joining us from the heartland. Look at that image real fast, if we can bring it back up, Kevin. Gavin Newsom, 20, AOC, 15, Buttigieg, Shapiro. Kamala Harris is all the way down in fifth place at 6%. It was just a few months ago, Chris, that the Democrats unanimously decided that she was the right person to be president. What happened?
Yeah, you kind of get the impression that maybe that was never all that organic excitement to begin with. Yeah, maybe that was always sort of preconceived. I'm glad you picked up on Harry Enton. Does he become more vaudevillian with every broadcast?
Yes, the Cagney-esque aspect of how he delivers is quite.
Why is he doing an act like shtick, like a dialect? What is that exactly? He's just a pollster.
We all need our brand. You decided to shave your head. We all have our thing.
Take a look at these numbers. It feels like he's about to sell me some snake oil or something, which maybe that's CNN. I don't know. Look at these numbers.
Yeah.
What the hell is he? Like a 1930s agent?
Do you think the damage to the Democrat brand is it because Trump is so relentless in going after them and pointing out their flaws? Is it because he's sort of forced them to defend the indefensible with these 80-20 issues we talk about so much? Or is there something else at play here? Is it really just because they don't have a leader? And as soon as the next Barack Obama comes by, they'll be fine.
I'm not sure they'll ever find that person again, because what they clearly seem to think, and Jasmine Crockett said it, I think just this week or last, she said, I should lead the subcommittee because I have the most Instagram followers. Right. Or Cory Booker and his theatrics, which I know you're going to talk about. They think that being performative is leading. They truly tell themselves this. They're not offering anything. They're just, if we get loud enough, if we scream enough, maybe if we swear, if we get mad about Sydney Sweeney being in a jeans ad, it's stuff no one cares about. They don't seem remotely serious about anything. So they just think if they yell louder, maybe that'll work. I don't know that a Barack Obama would be welcome, quite frankly. I mean, well, we see he was very condescending with them, and we see how he was treated too. So I'm not sure.
It goes back to Bill Clinton when they decided cult of personality and all of this, oh gosh, he plays the saxophone in Arsenio Hall. He stands for something, he means something, and that touches me emotionally. That worked a few times for them. But I don't think it works anymore when at the bottom line here, you have to be about something, not just like, for instance, this last time they were just against Donald Trump. In fact, that's all they've been for the last 10 years. But I couldn't tell you what they stand for other than very unpopular and ineffective policies.
Well, and to your point, when you said 80-20 issues, it's when you're defending illegal alien criminals, as Maryland dads and having margaritas with them, it's just such a bad look. You're storming into press conferences, making scenes when Trump is trying to crack down on illegal aliens and close the border. They're dying on the weirdest hills. They're dying on, butchering our children, and they're dying on Palestinian protests on college campuses. I mean, they're dying on these really whacked out hills. It's not like 50-50 issues.
And they keep saying their problem is just messaging. We're just not cutting through. It's not, get a new podcast. We need a Joe Rogan. Yeah. Listen, take a look at this. They've had their Joe Rogan. His name is Stephen Colbert. He has a great budget to work with, by the way. We wish we had literally 1/10 of his budget. Stephen Colbert last night had Kamala Harris on and asked what should have been a pretty good softball question for the woman who was just the nominee for the party. And that was, who is the leader now for the Democrats? And, well, take a look at how she answered.
Who's leading the Democratic Party? I'm just curious.
There are lots of leaders. There are a lot. I'm not going to go through names because then I'm going to leave somebody out and then I'm going to hear about it. It is a mistake for us who want to figure out how to get out and through this and get out of it to put it on the shoulders of any one person. It's really on all of our shoulders.
Oh, God, you got applause for that. I can't. I got to watch that word salad one more time and then let Chris look at your face. Let's just, because this is so profound, Chris. We are so lucky to have her in our midst. Just watch it one more time.
For us who want to figure out how to get out and through this and get out of it, to put it on the shoulders of any one person. It's really on all of our shoulders.
Yeah, you speak moron, don't you, Chris? Could you translate that
for me? Get out of what? First of all, if they're in anything, isn't she the one that put them in it? I mean,
thank you.
Like, she talks about it like she just showed up. What is we're stuck in it? If it's the collective we're stuck in something. It's because you drove us here, lady. You're the immediate past leader of the party. And then babbling on. And then I know there was I just media a little while ago, more of that lovely cackle that we've missed, telling jokes that no one understands as she cackles miserably and everybody kind of wonders why. And then the applause light goes off, telling the audience help her because she's dying. this show.
Well,
I mean, boy, and if ever this wasn't a demonstration as to why Stephen Colbert's days are numbered, I mean, it's just good grief. You know, as you said, if you had a tenth of his budget, if you had that audience, if you had that soundstage, if you had that network, imagine what you and I could do with it.
oh, that's why they won't let us have it, by the way. It's dangerous. All right. Good news, though. Kamala Harris is taking a leading role here because she announced yesterday, within 12 hours of deciding that she's not going to run for governor of California, hey, look, everyone, I've got a book. Watch this video. This is what she put out there announcing the book. And you tell me, is she really selling a book and the contents of the book? Or is she asking for your vote? Or is she promising you some sort of revelatory inspiration that she's going to write in the book? Or you tell me, what exactly is the pitch here? And maybe Chris can answer.
Just over a year ago, I launched my campaign for President of the United States. 107 days, traveling the country, fighting for our future. The shortest presidential campaign in modern history. It was intense, high stakes, and deeply personal for me and for so many of you. Since leaving office, I've spent a lot of time reflecting on those days, talking with my team, my family, my friends, and pulling my thoughts together. In essence, writing a journal that is this book, 107 Days. With candor and reflection, I've written a behind-the-scenes account of that journey. I believe there's value in sharing what I saw, what I learned, and what I know it will take to move forward. In writing this book, one truth kept coming back to me. Sometimes the fight takes a while, but I remain full of hope, and I remain clear-eyed. I will never stop fighting to make our country reflect the very best of its ideals, always on behalf of the people. So thank you for being in this fight with me. I am forever grateful. And I cannot wait for you to read this. And I'll see you out there. Take care.
Well, just to be clear, she doesn't care if you read it. She just wants to make sure you buy it. That's actually the most important part of this. But Chris, did you make any heads or tails out of what exactly was that? What did she say?
If you put it on mute and looked at it, it would appear that she's selling you a split level ranch.
No, that's way too tangible. Are you kidding? At least you got an asset at the end.
I did. I felt like it was a real estate ad. It looked like she was. Could I interest you in one of our 4 bedrooms?
I mean, this is kind of the old Century 21 blazer, isn't it?
It is.
Right? And remember Century 21 real estate?
But I hate to joke about her being in uniform because I know that gets you fired. But anyway, I won't go there. 107 days. That was, it's interesting. I didn't hear the title yesterday. I did ask some of my audience if they had titles, and these are just some of theirs. I won't take credit for any of these, but some of my audience came up with Yesterday is Today as a possible title. Unburdened by What Has Been, I thought was a good one, right?
I was hoping that's what it would be. Yeah.
I don't understand this one. How I Blew It Again. Is that
with a foreword by Willie Brown?
No.
Yeah.
I've never been to Europe. I like that one. Here's a neighboring one. I sucked again, but it didn't work this time. I still don't understand what that.
Yeah, that one doesn't make any sense to me.
Excuse me, I'm speaking, and I grew up in a middle class household. All possible titles that didn't make it.
I'm sure there will be at least a chapter named that. There's a clue here, though, that I'm going to move straight on. 107 days. And then she reemphasized shortest election, shortest campaign in modern history. The title of this book is one giant excuse, isn't it? She's actually trying to say, well, I would have won if I had had more time. But first of all, do you agree? Is that what's sort of in play here?
Well, that's right. It gives her the out. If I just had more run-up time, I mean, $1 billion couldn't get it done. I needed more days.
Thank you.
But don't forget, there's Biden out there who they pushed him up to June to debate. I mean, that's unprecedented. So she actually had much more time if they were deciding to ditch Biden. Biden still tells himself that he should have stuck around and he could have won had it not been. So it's interesting. You have 2 people who tell themselves they were both winners, but for the circumstances someone else did to them. That's their running theme. Yeah.
Neither of us have ever run for political office, certainly not the presidency, but we interview a lot of candidates at various times. And I suspect, knowing the presidential candidates that I've had conversations with, if you pose to them, all right, you got two scenarios. You either start raising money 2 years before election day, you have to go all over Iowa and New Hampshire, you got to do every primary, every caucus, you got to fight and claw your way to the convention, and then you're the nominee. Or the second scenario is you're handed the nomination right before the convention. You've got $1 billion in the bank, an entire campaign infrastructure already built for you, and you don't have to run in any primary or caucuses. The only downside is you only have 107 days to election day. Which would you rather choose? What's your money on there, Chris?
You're completely right. Just last night, I was at a fundraiser with a state Senate candidate who just launched his campaign to run in a primary next May.
Yeah.
A state Senate candidate. And I was sitting there thinking last night while I was emceeing it, this poor guy. I mean, he's young. So I was like, good for him. But to your point, he and his young team for a state Senate seat are getting ready to grind the most grueling fight just to get to a May primary.
Yep.
You're exactly right. Any candidate would say, oh, well, just hand me all the stuff right now. $1 billion and 107 days. You got it.
Quintessential Kamala Harris is that every gift that she is given, every advantage she is given that she did nothing to earn, she actually pretends is a burden of some sort in a handicap.
She wants to be unburdened by what has been. I'm not even really sure she wasn't gifted the vice presidency. Truthfully, I will never be convinced Joe Biden wanted to pick her. I think Barack had a lot to do with that too, don't you?
All right. If you didn't like that video promoting her book, that's fine. It probably means you're a boomer or a Gen Xer, one of those old farts. So good news for you. Kamala has put together a hip, trendy TikTok video to promote the book. It's directly geared toward the Zoomers and some of those young millennials. All right. And I'm sure you're going to like this one better. Check it out, everybody. This will float your boat.
Everyone thinks you've been kicking back, drinking margaritas on the beach. But really, you've been hard at work writing a book, meeting with leaders, thinking about the future of our country. Who said that?
Well, Chris, are you inspired by that one? Because that is so natural, so effortless, and so hip.
Is this, do the kids like this?
Apparently they
I don't spend enough time on TikTok to even know the reference, but okay, if that's what it takes, then is there anything more uncomfortable than watching old people try to do young people things? I gave up on that a long time ago. My kids, my 16-year-old daughter, you take her shopping, you just let her out at the curb and you wait. She doesn't want to, never mind try to do hip things they're doing on TikTok. Yeah. Boy, that's unfortunate. Do you think at any point any of them ever just say to their handlers, I don't want to do this. I'll look foolish. There's no way this goes well. Or do they think they can be hip?
Yeah, I think if JD Vance was coaxed by one of his handlers to try to do something like that, he'd go, yeah, that's not my thing.
Yeah, like you just say no. Just say I don't need to try to pretend it's the stupid bag of chips and the the Doritos stuff with Tim Walz. Where's the chips? It's right, John Kerry. Can I get me a hunting license?
Again. I know
it's so embarrassing.
Shocking that she's running 6th right now amongst Democrats. Absolutely shocking. Well, we're not tired of the winning. Are you, Chris?
No, never.
All right. And even better, I'm not tired of their losing. Chris DeGaulle, thank you. I can hear you. I can see you. There's no secrets. It's not working. We have an older, wiser demographic anyway. We don't need the TikTok.
You have a much younger wife, though.
Younger than what exactly? Don't. Bye, Chris. Thanks for joining us. Get him back for that one. He was actually the best man at my wedding. A lot of people don't know that. So he knows better than anyone how amazing my wife is. I'm kind of young. Hey, if you care about staying sharp and informed, make The Lion part of your daily routine. Published by the Herzog Foundation, The Lion covers the headlines that matter From politics and policy to culture and faith, all through common sense, values-driven lenses. It's the kind of journalism that goes beyond the surface, offering the context and clarity today's news demands. Whether you're tracking big national stories or you want to know what's happening in schools, state houses, and communities across the country, The Lion delivers smart, well-sourced reporting you're not going to find anywhere else. Visit readlion.com to catch up on the latest must-read stories and sign up for the Lion's daily and weekly newsletters while you're there. That's readlion.com, news that informs and respects your worldview.